and a very good morning to all. So, welcoming you all to the second session of the webinar series Disrupt Management Education in the New Normal Redefining the Goals, organized by Bhavans Royal Institute of Management, Kochi. And so, today for the webinar series and the second session, we have with us Mr. Ganesh S. Padmanabhan. So he is a marketing professional with more than 14 years of overall experience, largely in client acquisition, people management, account mining, and growth. And he has been previously associated with Randstad India Limited as Associate Group Manager, Key Accounts. And Mr. Ganesh Padmanabhan is currently serving as the General Manager at CIEL HR Services, a fast-growing HR services firm which is founded in 2015. And today he'll be discussing on landing a job in the post-COVID world. So on behalf of Bhavans Royal Institute of Management and all the participants present, I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir, to the session. And I now request you to kindly take over. Sir, please.
Hey, good morning. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for the kind intro. In fact, before I started my career in the staffing space, I had the opportunity to work with Rajagopal sir. In fact, he picked me in Albertine Institute of Management. So my work on the placement front and understanding this market started from there. I thought I'll mention that before getting into the session. Before we start, I hope all of you and your dear ones are safe, socially distanced, and are doing pretty well. I think we'll come out of this in a format of probably understanding the new normal. I've always personally had a problem with this word socially distanced. Somewhere I was not able to relate to it because thinking about it, I am more socially connected today, through WhatsApp, through Zoom calls. Probably I'm connecting with people that I are not connected in the last 5 years. And then you would have seen this family members coming together and doing Zoom calls, your previous school colleagues and your work colleagues, if there are people who are working in this, coming in and doing. So we are, I guess, physically distanced, but more socially connected. And this, I guess, will remain the new world order, at least for some time. Having that said that, personally, I'm not a fan of webinars because of the simple fact that today I am talking to myself. I can see few faces, luckily, but this also will not be a facility that will be provided most of the time. So and there were a lot of webinars which was coming our way. So the only webinar I thought I'll attend is how to avoid webinars. That was still I got an invite to be part of Disrupt. So we will see what best can we do in this 1 odd hour that is allocated to me. I have also prepared a very short slide, no death by slides. So maybe I'll just present that to you. Please don't mind the tech snacks. I hope the slide is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. So, personally, I felt that this is one of the biggest catch-22 of our times, because this infections were increasing all across, and we thought as a country we will go to a lockdown, thinking that we will flatten the curve, which did serve some purpose, but not fully. And after a couple of weeks, we all started getting a jittery, because if you open up the economy, people will have to go out, and then the infections will become more people will die. Now, if we continue remaining locked down at our own places, economy will die and eventually people will die. So whether to open or not to open kind of presented, because both of it leading to some or the other problem which will have a linkage. What's the biggest catch-22, the way I'm looking at it? And the difference seen in this uh, this recessionary trend or recession that we are seeing is very different from the global meltdown, financial meltdown, and all that we have experienced. Because before this, there was not a time when the production and consumption was hit so much. Uh, so even if when we were talking about this 2008 great financial crisis, people were working. There was some production which was happening, and it was just a matter of reviving some of those companies by infusing some cash, call it bail in, bail out, or whichever format, which is not the case here. All of them are stuck at their own places, and hence this game of this microorganism, which has resulted in some 5.3 million infections worldwide as of today. Even if we are talking about a 2.4 million recoveries from it, and 3.5 lakh people left us. Uh, all these because of few grams. I was reading something. Few grams of this microorganism just shows how fragile we are, as a world, as human beings, and also shows how unprepared we were to a pandemic of this scale. Firms, sectors, economies, all of them held hostile by this microorganisms, which is invisible. I was thinking I was doing a degree in tourism uh, in St. Thomas College, uh, around 2000, year 2000, and then I had two choices. I had decided I'll go for an MTA, which is Master of Tourism Administration, but some of my friends forced me, and then I ended up taking Master of Business Administration, and I guess that's the reason why I'm talking right now. That's on the lighter side. However, I guess uh, these important crossroads that we take will have a lot of impact. But having here, I was thinking we will just take you through how this entire thing of COVID pandemic is evolving as per the certain documents that I have been exposed to. So, I've been a guy who's a big fan of Hollywood movies. So the moment I heard about a pandemic, the aspects around zombie apocalypse, and then cities going on lockdown, people behaving crazy, people infecting other people, all of that was coming in my mind, like it would have come for many of you. So I packed my bags and came to Kerala, thinking that there is a track record of Nipah control in this state, and it will do much better than other states, which turned out to be true eventually. Uh, However, at that time I was in the first zone, the fear zone. You would have seen this was a time when many of us started using these terminologies that we have never heard of so far. People started saying there could be asymptomatic cases. People started saying, what is the R naught for COVID-19? Is it like Ebola? Or is it going to be like SARS? What is the R naught here? And what will be the immunoresponse? Will COVID-19 create an immunoresponse, or will it not create an immunoresponse? And we Indians, we are on the top of the list. We had crazy theory here saying that our immunity is really good. So what is this COVID-19? Nothing is going to happen to us. And then there were also assumptions around the temperature and the heat levels here being really high, so that COVID will not be able to survive that heat. There is even messages around that WhatsApp which was getting circulated around, vegetarians will not get hit by COVID. Apply palm oil in your head, you will not get hit by COVID. All formats of that. Now, all these was during the initial time period when you were buying all of it. And by that, I think we were overestimating our capability. And we were also underestimating the power of coronavirus, somewhere hurting its ego. This was a time when panic buying was more. People were getting annoyed easily. You would have seen all these global videos where people were trying to stock the toilet papers. They were trying to stock food and grocery at home. A lot of crazy stuff. Now that fear zone, I think, got over. You get bored of the fear zone also. In 2 weeks, we started moving towards the learning zone, where technically the lockdown in the country remained to be there. Maybe this is during the second season of the lockdown in this country, if you're talking India specifically. But somewhere in your mind, you have started releasing, control that you have set for yourself. Uh, you're still paranoid. It's not that you're not. Many of you are. Some of them are careless, but it's okay. Uh, you are also thinking, you should not be consuming so much of negative news. There are better things which is happening, and we are, as a country, as a state, as individuals, doing the best in the face of a complicated situation. This was the realization learning zone. I think this is also over today, and this was a time when you have started thinking about what is going to happen for my career. In the fear zone, you're just talking about survival. You're not talking about excelling in your career, because the needs and priority just shifted drastically. This is a time when you've started thinking as to what should be done with my career. How will I kind of manage if there are going to be job losses and all that. And now I guess somewhere the country is in a growing zone. And I'll tell you why. If you remember, we went on a lockdown when the total number of infections in India was around 564. And today we are talking about opening up the economy, and the flights, I think, started traveling, the domestic flights. That's what I was told, even if there were last minute confusions. We're talking about opening up the economy when there are 1.45 lakhs in terms of infections. So are we trying to kind of coexist with the new normal? And today we are getting more worried about economy. We're getting more worried about jobs, careers. What is going to be the new normal? What is it? What is in store for me? And having said that, I'm just stopping this sharing. I've removed the deck. Uh, the deck has gone, no, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, having said that, I'll just get you, share some thoughts in terms of what is my work and how are we discussing this topic and what is a common interest. My work at CLHR, which is a staffing company, works around one simple thing. And day in, day out, our job is to find jobs for people and people for jobs. And there's a subtle difference there. So if I want to meet my numbers, I will have to place at least say 100 permanent candidates per month across multiple industries, across multiple locations in India. And we faced three kinds of problems there. One, all the companies which was hiring, given that there was this uncertainty that was coming up, and many of it was traditional, players also, they put their positions on hold, just on hold. They're not going to recruit, is what we were told, till further notice. Whatever positions we're working on goes on hold, is what we were told. That must develop, getting some trouble in between. Yeah, okay. Uh, that's the first shocker, because if the positions go on hold, then my people do not have any work to do. That is a big problem. And second, there were offers which was released where probably in the month of JFM, which is Jan, Feb, and March quarter, and there were people who were supposed to join given the notice period around AMJ quarter, April, May, June. And many of these offers started getting revoked. So how do I bill? A candidate joins an organization, and I bill per candidate to the client, and that's how I get my GP, get my revenue. So the an offer revoked would mean that a person is not going to join in March, April, or May. It is revoked, gone. And the third category, this is the second trouble that I faced. The third trouble is uh, happened when many of the candidates who joined in Feb and March started getting pink slips from organizations, whereby they were told that the project is off. We are sorry, but nothing can be done. We have to let you go. This is like the LIFO policy, last in, first out. That's how it happened. So what are you taking away from me? If I go in the same order, you're taking away my present, you're taking away my future, you're also taking away a part of my past. That was the biggest problem statement which we had to face around March, and this is applicable for the line of business that I'm managing at CLHR, spread across, which is called the permanent selection business. The contractual staffing business is an opening balance business. They don't bill between the 1st and 30th of a month like how I'm supposed to do, or my model permits. And how is this related? You're talking about finding yourself a job. That's what this session is all about, landing a job. And for me, it is about finding jobs for 100 people every month. for me to keep my job. Otherwise, my job is also in trouble. So that is what links. That is the main linkage between you and me, and that's why I thought it will make sense for me to come and talk and share my thoughts here. Let me go back to the slide again. Allow me a minute. Am I visible?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. Our largest chunk of work used to be in the FMCG, FMCD, education, which we call as, all these will come under the CRS in our scheme of things. Manufacturing, engineering, IT, both products and services, largely supporting the US and UK markets. So these were the sectors where we were largely focused on. And many of those clients, like what is shown here, many of these sectors were hit bad. Uh, and many of these questions went on hold. The moment your future is uncertain, then you stop your new hires. When you start thinking about laying off, all this trouble will automatically come. And like what you see, there were potential losers that was emerging because of the lull, because of the trouble, and there were potential winners also that was emerging. So we kept a close watch, did a lot of research. We kept a close watch of how is the industry moving, and understood that there are certain sectors which is making use, taking advantage of this trouble which is coming in, and started focusing on them, which I will categorize. This is not, as defined by someone else. This is for our own convenience. We will categorize it as three areas. One is in the essential space. What do you mean by essentials? The ones which is into fruits, vegetables, food, grocery, and the new essentials which has suddenly come up. If you have noticed the masks that you're wearing, surgical masks, around February, the price was 7 rupees. Now it is around 15 to 20 rupees. Yeah, and the sanitizers, these are the new things that you're picking in huge numbers. So companies catering into these essentials, whichever it is, and the definition of that keeps increasing. That was one area that we thought we will focus on as an organization, because there is going to be movement there. There are going to be additions there. Second is, the digital first kind of models. I don't think I would have survived this lockdown easily if it was not for Netflix and with all the work that we do work. Uh, if it was not for Netflix and Amazon Prime, it would have been difficult for us to kind of survive. So if you look at it, the digital first businesses, I will call internet media, whether it is the OTT, over the top media that we are currently talking about, or gaming. For example, this online gaming and other mobile games and all that really grew at this time. So registrations were really, really high there because people are home, they have to do something. And there was a third category that we focused on, which is related to the new lifestyle, because you have forgotten your normal brick and mortar office structure and you're trying to build a home office and be comfortable around that, which necessitated the need of a good laptop for many of them, which necessitated the need of a comfortable chair, certain type of clothing with which you'll be comfortable, which could be termed as business casuals. You can't be sitting with a tie and all that when you're working from home. So what would be the new lifestyle? What all will come in? I'm just giving a framework here. We can't go into a lot of details. So we started targeting these sectors largely. And also, there was one thing that we noticed that was also again done through a lot of research. There are two kinds of leaders in any of these organizations, and we are talking only a top-down approach here. One is the first category is peacetime leader, and the second category is a wartime leader. A wartime leader invests at this time. There was a case wherein one of the companies in the bathroom fittings, sanitary ware industry, which of course is one of the industries that would have got hit because of the sector. One of the so-called wartime leaders that we are working very closely with, I'm not disclosing the name here, wanted to kind of ramp up the sales team across the country right now because he saw the opportunity that people are going to be, laid off from organizations, and it is going to be a tough time for many of them to survive in the sales part. So if he opens up now, by the time the market revives, you're back to normalcy, was the feeling that was there. So we started kind of working with many of those companies also, where we saw that the leadership team is quite focused. They have a long-term view of things, have a cash flow to kind of survive this time and sees this as a very short-term lull that is there, after which there is going to be a surge. We don't know whether the surge that is going to happen, which will definitely happen, like what economists would say, whether it will be in the shape of a V, whether it is a U or an L. And I'm hoping an L never happens. It needs to be a V. And I'm thinking all indicators that we are getting in the last 3 weeks of seeing the uptick in the job market, I'm assuming we are getting prepared for a V in terms of a surge. Going a bit more specifically, if that is going to help, many of these traditional organizations, the moment there was this problem, and even before that, there was a movement towards technology adoption. If you have noticed the industry very closely, say for example, there were agro companies. Now there is agro tech which is coming in. They are doing well and they are recruiting in huge numbers. The food tech, as we call it, the Swiggy, Zomato variety. While they are talking about layoffs and all that in Swiggy, there are other players also which has come into play. So for anything that you add tech to it, whether it is food tech, whether it is agro tech, whether it is health tech, even fintech for that matter, and edutech. We are talking about a webinar. If it was not for COVID, first of all, I would not be discussing this. Otherwise, it would have been a seminar in your wonderful auditorium or wherever you get those classes. So edtech as a industry, whether it is for K-12 or whether it is for higher education, even career counseling is one part of it, has been recruiting like in crazy numbers. If you look at roles specifically, online gaming companies would require growth hackers. These are technical sales guys. The OTT space are hiring a lot of tech guys and customer service people. If you look at these edtech companies, then they need trainers to deliver courses because the number of enrollments are increasing like crazy. And they need content creators. And even if you are not in a position to kind of contribute to the core roles, I'll give you a simple example. Grofers had put up had come up in news before I think some 5 weeks or so, mentioning that they are going to recruit some 5,000 people, and this is to ensure that delivery is happening at the doorstep of these groceries, food, and whatever they will. Now, these 5,000 people are not going to operate on themselves. They need a very strong back office. And the back office would require people for planning, routing, scheduling, a lot of other activities. And these are all permanent roles that they will have to either hire or replace because there is going to be some separations which will anyway happen. So we were mindful of this shift which was happening. And suddenly we started getting some new assignments from all these sectors, which was moving at this time, which is largely, like what I said, under the broad category of essentials, digital first, and lifestyle. Again, this is not globally accepted kind of it's a convenience kind of a explanation that we have created here. So what am I trying to say is the opportunities are there. I will not say they are plenty, but there are a lot of opportunities. It's just that it will not come to you because you are holed up at your own residences. You are not even going out, but for essentials. So keep your eyes open, ears peeled, and sniff for opportunities. Do some very good research. We'll come to that part. There are, like what is mentioned here, there are a lot of sectors where there is movement happening. Just that you will have to probably tweak your plan a bit by keeping in mind the short-term trouble that we are facing as a country, as a world. A bit of a, not a fan of Gyan, but a bit of a Gyan. While the first part of it is understanding where is the movement, where is the music in market. The second part of it is got to do a bit with mindset related aspect, wherein certain because these are desperate times, you need desperate measures. Certain things which you were not comfortable doing in the past or have not thought of doing in the past, we may have to get used to the new normal that the situation has presented us with. One is nothing is going to replace a deep industry research. When I said landing a job, my job was to only point out certain very low points. Your customization is linked to your aim with which you are probably enrolled for a course. or maybe there is a person who is already in the job. So unless you research on the industry movements and also have a clear blueprint on where do you fit in given your skills, and is that a moving sector, there will always be, because all these organizations require support functions, and I'm sure irrespective of what you're pursuing, there is something for you out there. But deep research is what will land you in a good role. And this is not a time where you have an offer and you're sitting back relaxing. Be desperate, keep searching for jobs, uh, while you will be able to make a judgment around whether or not something is going to happen. It will always be safer today to be a bit on the paranoia side rather than on the comfortable, nothing will happen, happy-go-lucky kind of a mode. We recruit a lot of people from campuses for both internships as well as this direct MT roles. Not a lot, maybe 10 to 12 people. That's the current number. Because as an organization, we are some 300 people across the country today, present in 51 locations. And one thing that I see is many a times there is no linkage between the project, the specialization, and the final role for which the candidate attends a interview. Now, if you have done your research and if you can pick some projects, because many of them are looking at getting projects done given the time period, maybe the payment involved is not great, but that is going to make the profile that you have more thick, and this is going to be the real live work experience that you can speak about if you're not coming with prior experience to your management education. Next part of it is there is a country, as a country, we still have a stigma towards this temporary contractual roles. I remember in my earlier days, or even a generation before that, we used to talk a lot about government jobs. Being settled back then meant that if you have a government job, you're safe. Private job didn't have the kind of respect that it has today. I think the same stigma is running around temp and contractual roles also. Very senior guys who are in our roles, largely technical guys, because this is what the Western culture is. They focus that countries, many of it, the most advanced countries, are dependent on temporary and contractual roles. The permanency nature, which is just a definition, nothing is permanent, I think is troubling only India. So consider even the temp and contractual roles, which is coming by your way right now, rather than having a very rigid approach towards that. If at all, some of you might, I'm sure, being in MBA, many of you would be flexible already. Another aspect of this is all our clients have moved because these new sectors that we spoke about, which is emerging, have done everything from sourcing to interviews to onboarding virtually. It's all e-onboarding that we are talking about today. Maybe this month we will have some 25, 30 people joining, all from their own home. If possible, by using a Dunso or any of these services that's available, they are sending in a laptop from the office or they are told to use their own laptop, but e-onboarding is happening. So what is very clear is the entire decision making, which normally happens through a face-to-face interview, is today happening through this virtual interviews. So you be prepared for video interviews and all that, plus telephonic interviews, because the decisions are going to be taken through that. There is no other opportunity where you will go and go for a face-to-face to better it. And this would also require simple things like planning from where you're taking the call to, what is the kind of preparation that you do before it, because this is the final interview also today. And another aspect is some of you might be experiencing this, that you have received an offer, but your date of joining is getting pushed given the uncertainty. We have also been experiencing that for our clients and for us. Some of them are very considerate. They understand what is the scenario and it's not in control. Whereas some of these candidates are not very patient in that way. We'll have a lot of reasons for it, but during a delay, showing an attitude will be the last thing that you can. Because if they show that they are impatient around it and are troubling the hiring managers with very tough questions, saying, give me a date right now. I have been waiting for this for so long. And all that, I think, are quite suicidal at this point in time, because you understand the problem is much bigger than what we anticipated it to be. So be patient to yourself, be patient to people around you, which is a rare commodity today. But I think this is a good opportunity. And one of the most important areas is using this time well. It's a good initiative that we are doing this webinar and that we are having these interactions on a regular basis. Like this, how many other certification programs are you doing at this time and adding to your, making your profile even more meatier? And how is that going to be linked to the final role that you would like to land yourself in? Are all very critical aspects. And this is again a path that you can take in either, have a good time, like what I was saying, a lot of content in Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that will keep you glued through the entire time period. But there is also other things that you can pick. And once we kind of do that, I guess that is going to pay off. If not immediately, at least in the near future. Now, this is, I thought I'll just present this to kind of tell you what behavior did we demonstrate during this troubled times. This was a time when we were seeing even our competitors as well as other organizations were talking layoffs, they were talking pay cuts, they were talking about shutting down verticals. But the company that I represent have been there from 1992. Legacy has been there from 1992. CL is just second version of Mafwa, which used to be the number one staffing company in India. So we knew that this there will be a surge, and there will be, and that surge is going to be immediate. We just have to wait through this time with best of the efforts, and then prepare for the surge. That was the way in which we looked at it, and it is always a top-down kind of a decision which comes in. So we remained. I think we could remain calm, even if this troubled time was there, which I guess is a point which you should also kind of keep in mind. Be calm, and not from a safety friend. I am saying, thinking about a future friend. Don't compromise on the immediate safety friend. Uh, be compassionate. We were quite compassionate. I guess we were connecting with our people on a daily basis, and all our calls starts with a conversation around how are they feeling? Is everybody okay in their family? How is the locality? Are there more infections there? You know, and the CEO was personally interested in seeing out of the 10,000 deputies that we send to job every day, is anyone infected? What is the status? And then we were giving him. So far, I think in our company, we were able to figure amongst our deputies some 2 COVID positive infections. And one of our employee based in Chennai is also, COVID positive. But none of us are working from office. By March mid, when many of the kids started saying that, I'm getting worried around coming to office, we said, just work from home. And today also we are kind of working from home, continuing to be, because it's about more about making them comfortable and getting them productive also. Remain confident because the market will surge. Remain connected. If I was connecting with my people once in 2 days and 3 days, today I'm connecting with them thrice a day. Uh, to an end where some of them have started saying, please stop connecting with me this frequently. We remain client focused, like the activity shift that we spoke about. While we are in touch with the traditional sectors that we were always servicing, we also found out some of these new clients where we saw that there is music, there is going to be movement, and that's going to be the new world order. Uh, uh, Even if I put it as a second last point, one of the most critical aspects, we are cash focused at this time. By cash focused, I mean uh, this time period when your revenues are plummeting, uh, the only way to remain positive and strong, confident, is by having cash flow, sufficient cash flow. So, a lot of our efforts around collections of previous money that was spending in market, there was considerable energy which was invested towards that, which did help us, which will help any organization, because the ones which will emerge out of this sector are the ones, this trouble are the ones which is pretty good in cash flow. And collaborative, yeah, teams that we have never worked with in the past, we have collaborated like crazy. Whether it is IT, non-IT, whether it is Baroda, whether it is Chennai, because these are both manufacturing and engineering hubs. We just collaborated like crazy in the country because we are not, differentiated by the structure which basically comes in because of the brick and mortar that the office provides. So, that's what we did during this time. last part of what I wanted to share has got to do a bit with again my favorite map paths that you can take. This is a crossroad for you, and we thought we'll put together a very short video which my marketing team did, which will showcase two alternate paths that people can take today, especially the ones who are pursuing a higher education right now. So while I'm not prescribing any of these, I personally feel that surviving in the short term is very critical to thrive in the long term, because these are times, unprecedented times, which we have not faced in the past. So I guess it's very important to be flexible rather than being rigid. At the same time, with a long-term focus. Don't be desperate. I think things will come your way. Sector is opening up, and we will be resilient. With that, I guess that covers pretty much what I wanted to kind of share with you all.
Connect with you all again. Thus, we have come to the end of day 2 of the webinar series by Bhavan's Royal Institute of Management. I'm so glad that our resource person for the day, Mr. Ganesh S. Patmanabhan, GM, CLHR, has given a great insight to approaching our career goals during this crucial time. And he has given a clear picture of how the job market has adapted to the various industry needs and how to land in a job in the new normal. And I'm sure that his words would have been of great help for students to redefine their expectations about a job. And thank you, sir, for that. And needless to say, Ganesh sir is a person who stands very close to Bhavan's family. And just for formality's sake, I extend my sincere words of gratitude for giving an outstanding session and helping us make our small effort a real success. Thank you, sir. On behalf of Bhavan's Royal Institute of Management and the entire Bhavan's family, I extend my sincere thanks to you, sir. And I also express sincere thanks to all participants. We had almost over 100 for sparing their valuable time with us for this 1 hour. And thank you all. Hope to meet you tomorrow at the same time for the session by Mr. Lionel Joseph, DGM, HR of Havels Limited. And thank you once again. Stay home, stay safe.